Welcome to Fluxedo Junction, I'm Scott Kugler. Each episode we bring you the best music of all genres from throughout the world, and this week we'll be speaking with musician, producer, and composer Will Angeloro. Among his many credits and various styles of music, Will has been recording and releasing music under the moniker of League of Joy since 1989. From his current base of operations in Frome in the UK, he continues his composing and producing of techno, house, breakbeat, ambient, experimental, and electro funk. His most current release is the first full-length League of Joy LP in 2 years, titled Semi Autonomous Avian Drones. He describes it as a gaggle of 80s-influenced pop mixed with smatterings of existential dread. So with that in mind, let's get things started with the first track off of the album. Here's League of Joy with HT Lingual, here on Fluxedo Junction.
Chaos Theory. Predictability of random events. Notion that reality as we know it, past, present, future, is a mathematically predictable pattern system.
So somewhere out there in the vastness of the eternity, awaken to predicting the future.
All right, man. So thank you once again for coming on the show. I always love having you on the show at the beginning of the year. This is a little later than we usually do it, but it was worth the wait because you now have, is it an EP? I think I have it all right here in front of me. It's the 5-song EP.
It's a 4-song, oh God, it's a single, but with remixes. It's
Right,
one song,
right.
Remixed a few times. They have a word for that, or they did. Back in the 90s, I can't remember. Maxi single, is that it?
Maxi single. Wow, you're bringing me back to my Sam Goody days. Jesus.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so this was a collaboration. Who is it you're working with on this?
No. Well, okay, yes, it was sort of a collaboration. I've got a new album coming out in about at the end of the month, and this is the first single, or probably the only single off of the album. And I come up with a bunch of songs, and a few of them just lend themselves to having vocals. So I asked my friend Joanne, to sing on this one. I had just worked on some of her material, and that's how it happened. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." And, love working on her. She's got a real sort of gothic kind of voice, and I thought it was fun. She's great.
Yeah, she sounds amazing, and I love, obviously, the track, too, and I'm listening to it over and over again. Jamie and I both. She's here in the room, by the way.
Hello, Jamie.
He says hi. So we've been listening to it, and I've been bouncing around the room. Like, I really, really love it, and I love every version of it, but it feels to me like 2 or 3 of the mixes of it, really, I can almost hear it like being played by a band, you know. Not that I would prefer it that way. It just it keeps popping in my head like it would be an awesome guitar lick. Like, how did you write? How did you come up with the track?
Well, first of all, I'm terrible at actual songs. So
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, electronic music lends itself to extended nonsense with, you know, or to quote the manager of the Commitments, dicking around with synths. It is easy to do, but I've been trying of late to try to come up with a bit more structure and work with vocalists, you know. So how did it come about? Well, the whole album started off with just sort of an idea of almost a retro, using a lot of 80s synth pop sounds and trying to go in the more poppy direction. No, not go in that direction, but just playing around with that. So I was going to do a whole album of 80s style stuff, but of course that didn't happen.
No, wait.
Hear the influence.
Hold on, yeah, I gotta stop you there just for the benefit of people in the audience who might not know anything about this world. When you say like 80s influence, for you, give us some specifics. Like who would you have been influenced from in this genre at that period?
They call it the futurists now, or they did even in the UK. Well, I never heard that term until later on. But the futurists were, say, the first 2 Human League albums.
Okay.
Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. John Fox, second or third album, John Fox, that kind of stuff. You know, it's real interesting. Gary Newman's another one.
Right.
We all know Cars over in America, but over here, his entire career is still celebrated.
So this, I know some of these people that you're mentioning, but the genre as a whole, I'm not that schooled in. Are we talking about the time period that would have been like post-Kraftwerk kind of?
Not even. It would definitely be post-Kraftwerk. I mean, there's a great documentary called Synth Britannia where
I've seen some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil Oakey has a great thing that, you know, came over to his house for 2 records. One was Trans-Europe Express, and the other was I Feel Love by Donna Summer. And so, you know, until we can do this, you know, we've got 3 synthesizers, we can make futuristic stuff. It was before, you know, I think anyone considered it a genre, because none of these bands had heard of each other, and it had never been done before.
Right, it's not like this was coming out of a club scene or anything, huh?
No, it certainly fell in there, didn't it? You know.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So I was really into that at the moment, and I was playing with those type of sounds. But like I said, when you hear the record when it comes out next month, it lasted for about half a record. But anyway, this particular single comes from that sort of feel of the 80s, and then goes right. The original mix, which is the SAAD mix.
Yeah, that's out of everything. That's the one that I keep hitting on repeat. I love it. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do? How long does it take you to do something like this? How long, like just this track and the remixes of it? Walk us through the process a little bit.
Well, you know, it's like any song, any musician. You're looking for that spark. You know, you're looking for something that's gonna make you go, ooh, that's good. And for me, it was finding that initial sound on the synthesizer, the main sound that goes through it.
Right.
And just playing it around, you know, you loop it around, you play with the filters, you sort of make the sound your own. I'd say after a couple hours of my first night with it, I had a basic beat. I had 3 or 4 different synths going around, and then it just sits there. It sits there for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you listen to it. And I put it on my phone. Then I'll come back in, and then I'll start playing around with chord changes. So if you're talking about in the studio, it probably takes about 4 or 5 hours, or maybe about 6, for me to hammer out the entire song pre-vocals. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of listening time. That's what's wonderful about, the old days. You make a cassette, you throw it in your car.
Right.
So that's sort of what I did.
So it's for me. I have the benefit here of having known you forever and having even worked with you, like really in very formative years, and so I can hear things on the track that maybe other people can't, or just I can imagine how you might have come up with different sections. But I have to say, man, it really is impressive to me how you write a piece of music like this. For me, when I write, it's like very methodical. It's very symmetrical. Like there's 4 measures of this, and then 4 measures of that, and then 4 measures of that, and come back to the hook. And writing on this scale, I don't think I've ever really done it before. It's really impressive.
Well, see, to be perfectly honest, I'm not good at that like you are. I'm not. So what I was trying to do with this particular song was to inflict sort of the song itself. So, the sounds, the loops, the rhythms, they were all there first. But then I said, well, how do I make it into 4 measures of this, and 6 measures of that? And you start pitching out some of the sequences into chord changes. Say, oh, that sounds pretty good. And the next thing you know, you have a verse, a bridge, and a chorus.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's it. And then so I sort of used my production ear after that to try to arrange it a little bit. But of course, the singing comes in, and it's a whole different thing after that. So that's the lovely part of it.
I mean, really, the whole process is mystical to me. Even though you're describing it, it's still to me like, wow, that's just something I can't even imagine. I can imagine getting into that headspace, but I can't imagine pulling myself out of it to the point where I could then look back at it objectively and say, all right, well, it needs to be cut here and cut there. I mean, I guess it's making a sculpture out of sound, out of the air. But
I suppose, but I think what you're talking about is very, I appreciate it, but I'm kind of looking at this particular song, the single, as, like you said, it could be played with an acoustic guitar. So even though I didn't arrive at it that way, I arrived at it with the spark from the sound of the instruments first. I don't think it's that different. There's going to be the more experimental stuff, which you've heard coming up on the album.
Yeah.
Where if you ask me the same question, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I have no recollection of how it came together. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm now just thinking about your musical output as a whole. I mean, I keep saying, I love this track. I love the different mixes, and I'm looking forward to more. But this is now popping around in my head the way that music just infects my brain. It's a piece I'm going to be living with, I know, all weekend. But also being a fan of the stuff that you've written, you know, with a full rock band and other variations. I just know it to be true that you actually do have the ability, a great ability, to write like hooky songs in a definite, you know, defined space. I mean, maybe you've worked with collaborators on some of that stuff, but you know, just thinking back to the Opium Connection stuff, not even the stuff that I played on, but the other stuff after I left. I mean, that's some of my favorite stuff that band did, and I know that you were intimately involved in the writing of those songs.
Whether you feel your flaws or dream that you are, it seems that you are. And if you fly like a swan, how high have you gone? What high are you on? Sitting there like an autistic child, swaying back and forth on a solid wall of sound. Tranced out, glaze-eyed mind moving at the speed of light. Your body still on the ground. It's a sea of Levi's and madness. Everywhere you look, they are swinging into view. Spaceship crash landed here on a hostile world, all alone. They've stranded you. touching down, walk around on the ground, strolling the city streets, east side, west side, see the shops with the cold fish eyes. One planet I'm on. Maybe grew through the park, such a strange place at the dark. The coyotes on the prowl, giving us the how they howl. The cautious lip. Falling out to hitchhike, fourth planet on the right, strung out, drowning, and Mars take me home again. Whether you feel you're the boss or dream that you are, it seems that you are. And if you fly like a swan, how high have you gone? What high are you on?
But yeah, even with that, thank you, by the way, I could not have done that on my own. It is a 100% collaboration.
Oh, sure, yeah.
As you know, I always needed everybody around me. With electronic music, it's a bit lonely in that sense, and that's why I think I've avoided some more traditional structure, because I don't have that person to... Even the lyrics on that Joanne and the singing she did on this record, which I think are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't there for that. I sent her the track. She did that at home, and she layered up a bunch of different pieces for me and said, "Here, take what you want."
Oh, that's great.
So it wasn't even a collaboration. I didn't tell her what to sing. I didn't tell her what lyrics to use. I just said, "Do what you think," because I trusted her. But I had to rely on somebody else. The single off my second album, which I worked with Emily on it was exactly the same thing. I sent her the tracks and said, "Do what you want with it," you know. Because I'm just not that good at it.
And nobody knows what's going to happen to anybody besides the forlorn rags of growing old.
Well, yeah, it's like taking your creative energy and putting it through somebody else's filter, which I love.
Exactly.
That's my favorite thing, man. Even thinking back to like just rock music, that when I remember being like a young rock fan and hearing about, like, obviously being a fan of Cream and loving not just Clapton but Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, and then finding out that there were albums that those two guys made with Robin Trower in place of Eric Clapton, and I couldn't wait to hear that because I was such a fan, and I love Trower anyway. But just like hearing somebody else through that filter, hearing somebody you love through somebody else's filter, to me is the most fascinating thing. I love those kinds of collaborations.
Yeah, which works well when it's. I can't even say when it's the right chemistry. It's just that when you get the people who are sympathetic to what someone else is doing, they feel like they can contribute something. I, again, being an electronic artist, it does get lonely. You know what I mean? You, for want of a better word, crawl up your own ass. You have to find your way out musically because am I going to put out an 18-minute pulse wave? My name is not Ortecker or Apex Twin. I can't get away with that. So I'm trying of late to bring it in a bit.
Well, I love it, and we're going to continue to play it. We already kicked the show off with it, and we're cutting in some other music as well. But people can go to your Bandcamp page, leagueofjoy.bandcamp.com. Is that the best way to go?
Well, that's the best way if you wanted to buy it, but I haven't uploaded this yet to Bandcamp.
Oh, okay. But it is on Spotify, because that's where I've been listening to it.
Spotify, Apple Music, these are all the places. I found out that you can actually choose some of these songs when you're making a TikTok video.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
That's
you know what? That's actually an interesting question. Have you ever considered doing music for film? Or maybe you have already and I just don't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done not for... You tend to need to know the filmmaker. I don't know too many.
Right.
What I have done is I've worked on, this is a while ago, I worked on a 6 DVD box set for graduate science students. It was all about biology and exploring the link between creativity and some really hard science. I can tell you that had nothing to do with the film. I mean, some of it was way above my head. Most of it was way above my head. But I did the sound design, so I was actually doing some Foley type stuff, smashing cans and bottles.
Nice.
As well as writing the theme song and little bits of music for it. So yeah, I have done it, and it's great fun, but it's, again, completely out of my comfort zone, which is great.
Huh. Well, that's fucking awesome, man. I love it when you have new stuff out. I can't wait to hear more. And, thanks for coming on once again, kicking off another new year with our spiritual advisor.
What I'm trying to do this year is release something once every month, and I think you'd be in a bad way if you didn't mention that you're contributing to some of the upcoming EPs as well.
I'm very excited. I was honored to even be considered. So Thank you, man. I'm such a big fan.
I've got my first covers album coming out, and I picked some really weird stuff. And your host, I'm talking to the people listening here. I'm not talking to you. Your host, Scott Kukler, is singing on one of those. He's also contributing to another very odd EP that's going to be coming out later in the year.
And honored to do so. And thank you so much. I love having you on the show. I love working on music. I love just BSing about Marvel movies, which we do need to catch up on a couple of things I finally watched. What was the most recent one? Echo. Yeah, I just finished that. And I finished What If also, so we got to talk about that too. All right. Thank you very much, Will. I'll talk to you really soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Good luck, and hello to everyone listening, and thanks for continuing to listen to Fluxedo Junction, because I listen to it every week.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you.
At least when it comes out.
Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Been hearing his name across the land. Well, what is a vigilante man? Tell me, what is a vigilante man? Has he got a gun or a club in his hand? Is that a vigilante man? Rainy night down in the engine house, sleeping just as still as a mouse. Man come along and he chased us out. Was that a vigilante man? Stormy days we pass the time away, sleeping in some good warm place. Man come along and we give him a raise. Was that a vigilante man? Preacher Casey was just a working man, and he said, "You're not all you working men." Killed him in the river, some strange man. Was that a vigilante man? Oh, why does a vigilante man? Oh, why does a vigilante man carry that sawed-off shotgun in his hand? He kill his brother if he can. I rambled round from town to town. I rambled round from town to town. They herded us around and around and around. Was that the vigilante man? Have you seen the vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man?
Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. They got people coming there from all over the world to test the finest marijuana grown by the seed companies of Holland for us to smoke and get high and enjoy the wonderful atmosphere of a society where people just don't care if you want to get high. Hey, that's just fine. Come on over here to the coffee shop and order up whatever kind of weed or hash you might want to smoke, 'cause it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Here in Amsterdam, baby. It's all good. And by the end of the week, they're gonna pick the finest marijuana that's been submitted for the testing of the exalted panel of judges here at the Cannabis Cup. And guess what? Well, we're smoking all those different kinds of weed and trying to figure out which one is gonna win the cup. Every different brand we try is gonna be the bomb, 'cause it's all good. And ain't none of this stuff gonna be bad. It's all good at the Cannabis Cup. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But when we get back to the United States, it ain't gonna be nothing like this. In the United States, it ain't nothing nice, 'cause they got a war on people like us. They call it the war on drugs, but they don't give a fuck about drugs, 'cause if you got a